Carol Christofero-Snider married her husband Randy in 1970 after he returned home from the Vietnam War. Randy had suffered serious injuries, but the only visible one was the loss of his left eye. Carol remembers her new husband as a strong, young, and very bright Marine. Over time, though, Carol began to sense that Randy was struggling with more wounds than either of them realized. As a civilian, Randy was quick to get hired for good jobs, but he could never seem to stay employed. After losing his 7th job, Carol began the long fight of getting her husband evaluated and treated for a traumatic brain injury. At the time, the VA knew almost nothing about brain injuries compared to what we know today. And when it came to recognizing caregivers, Carol says she didn't even exist. Advocating for her husband was a fight. During the next few years, Carol did her own research on brain injuries and brought it to Randy's doctors. She clung to anyone who was helpful. For 2 years, she never left the hospital without getting another doctor's personal extension. She kept a little black book, which she still has to this day, of every number she collected. She was determined to be part of Randy's care. Carol and Randy eventually had 2 girls, but she felt like the sole parent. She spent so much time caring for her husband and children, she pushed off her own schooling and professional interests. Carol had friends, but none of them understood what she was going through. There were no Facebook pages or support groups to connect with other caregivers. Out of desperation, she would sit in the hallways of the VA, approaching anyone who looked like her to see if they would like to exchange numbers and talk. Carol is now in awe of the amount of resources and connectivity caregivers have today, thanks to organizations like the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and its partners. Though Carol says she still sees too many caregivers alone and in pain. Now that she has found a good balance in life, Carol tries to reach out to new caregivers. She likes to reassure them, saying, "Your veteran would not be who they are today without you. And whether they express it or not, they appreciate you." Carol, you've stood by your veteran. America now stands with you.